Earlier this year, Henrietta, we talked about a good friend of this programme, Laurie Calvasina of RBC, who referred to client conversations about politics and this year's election as staring at the sun. And I just wonder, Henrietta, if that's changed, if your clients have finally sort of come around to the idea they need to begin to position for what could happen in November. And if they are, what on earth does that look like at the moment? What are they saying?
Oh, man. I mean, from my seat, people are very excited about it. There's a lot of dinners, there's a lot of lunches, a lot of meetings where people just want to talk about it. Investors trade as though the election were tomorrow, which of course it's not. It's not till November. So there's an internal power struggle that I have where I'm trying to predict November, and they're trading on day-to-day moves and when can they go put their basket of trades on around tariffs or on domestic tax policy. They're chomping at the bit for that. This is a huge volatility event, and investors love that. So from my seat, I guess what I would say is that we are pretty close to fever pitch in terms of investor attention to this. There are people who ask that question amongst the investment community. So people will say, when's this really going to kick into high gear?
Yeah.
But from my calendar, I would say we're there. It's on.
I think on Wall Street, as you know, we like to reduce this down to one single issue. Have you noticed then we've already done that this comes down to if it's President Trump, it's massive tariffs, and if it's President Biden, they won't be as big?
No, I think there's so much on the line. I would push back on that. We have to get a tax bill. It will be almost $3 trillion. Just extending the existing tax rates is $2.7 trillion. So we have that whole litany of tax provisions, which is corporate and individual, whether it's, long-term giving and charitable contributions, SALT, the R&D tax credit. There's tons of that stuff. And then the tariffs, people are saying, what's the difference between the EU, the German automakers, and potentially a baseline tariff on Mexico? Should I insert the border adjustment tax as a placeholder? What is the deficit going to be? What do we do with bonds? There's a lot to play here. I don't think it's just a tariff story. And people are just trying to pick which one's going to come first.
Yep.
And I think that timing is going to be important as we go, into October, November.